Want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so you're gonna when you twirl around your head,
There you go.
palm is down.
Now get up close to it. Get up close to it.
Oh,
And then let it rip, Tater Chip.
Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness! You're a Gladiolus.
We flew into Dwight Eisenhower Airport in Wichita, Kansas for the start of our Heartland tour and drove up to Emporia where we set up our first base. In the morning, we made our way to coffee at the Gravel City Roasters and we followed that up with a traditional Midwest breakfast at the Commercial Street Diner. Then it was off to explore the tallgrass prairies of the Flint Hills west of town. Tallgrass prairies once covered 170 to 190 million acres, stretching from southern Canada to central Texas and eastward to the shores of Lake Michigan. Today, only about 4% of this ecosystem remains intact, most of it in the Flint Hills region, where shallow soils discouraged extensive plowing. Prairies have long been a characteristic North American landscape without representation in the national park system, a system some would argue was designed to preserve vignettes of primitive America. But in terms of a national park, the inherent nature of prairies presented some problems. With their flat and gently rolling landscapes, the prairies are less visually dramatic than, for example, the peaks one finds in the great landscape parks of the Rocky Mountains. And they suffer from the lack of what might be called charismatic megaflora. So, for example, a 6-foot-tall stem of big blue-stem tallgrass probably engenders a lesser emotional response than does a towering sequoia. Consequently, there was less public alarm as the tallgrass prairie fell to the plow than when the sequoias fell to the sawyer's blades, and subsequently less of a push to set aside a prairie national park. Efforts to establish a prairie national park actually began in the 1920s, focusing on the Flint Hills tallgrass region. It took about 70 years, but in 1996, these efforts culminated in the establishment of the Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve on lands owned by the Nature Conservancy and co-managed with the National Park Service. We took a couple of hikes in the Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve, including a big 10-mile loop hike through the higher portions of the Flint Hills. The hikes gave us a sense of the vastness of the prairie landscape and a new appreciation for what those who crossed it by wagon and foot in the 19th century went through on their way to new homes in Oregon and California. Okay, we're on Highway 177 heading north, bound for the Symphony in the Flint Hills, an open-air concert on the prairie that takes place annually. 7,000 people are expected this year. We're so excited. Proceeds from the Symphony go toward Tallgrass Prairie preservation efforts, so we're happy to be a part of that. Last time the Symphony took place was in 2018. The 2019 event was canceled when a microburst took down the event site, and of course COVID derailed things in 2020. So it's been 3 years since the last Symphony, and I think everybody's ready for this.
All right. We'll see. Maybe I'll mess this up. Maybe it'll be awesome.
Just because you're on film.
Maybe.
Whoa! What a setting for a concert. Look at this. The governor of Kansas was just here to kick things off. So here we are with 7,000 of our closest friends on the prairie listening to great music. The cattle drive, the symphonic cattle drive, a highlight of the symphony in the Flint Hills. So amazing. The sun is going down, capping off a beautiful day of music on the prairie.
Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.